I'm Vaishali, and with me today is Siddhant Karnick, and we all better know him as Jijaji from Animal. So, Siddhant, welcome to NDTV.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much to being inside your screen.
Siddhant, I want to begin by asking you 20 years in the film industry. How do you feel about that?
I feel I'm just getting started. I feel like I don't know so much that I don't feel that it's 20 years makes me sound like I've been around. I know a lot of things. It's not the case. I'm still learning and I still have a lot to learn.
But Siddhant, I want to understand from you. I've always felt that. I mean, do you feel somewhere that it's been such a long time in the industry, you haven't got your due somewhere? Because your big break, of course, came in the form of Animal much, much later. So, how do you feel about that bit?
Well, well, I'm human as well. I think it always feels that I should have it should have come earlier, or I could have gotten this a lot earlier. But it is what it is. Yeah, what can you do? I'm happy I got it now and another 20 years later. So in a way, it's happy with what I get when I get it.
But Siddhant, I was telling you before the interview, I mean, I discussed this with Taha Shah Badusha as well. And even for him, it was a long, long wait. And then, of course, he got Hira Mandi. And I feel the process was a little similar for you as well. I want
Mhm.
to understand, Siddhant, what makes you stick and how were you so patient? I mean, what do you tell yourself every day when you don't get what you want early on in your career?
I wish I could say that there is one formula, one mantra that works. It doesn't. There are some days that I wake up very motivated, very charged, nothing can get me down. And then there are other days which I don't feel like getting up. I feel like quitting and, taking something else. And that's what natural. So I think the first thing comes from recognizing the true feeling and not negating it, because negating it and pushing it down just kind of builds it up a lot more within me. But after that, I have to credit my family. I get a lot of support, emotional support from my parents, from my friends who are just awesome to be around and keep pushing me and nudging me.
Siddhant, I saw one of your interviews, and the usual reaction that even audiences thought was that there would be a flurry of projects that you'd get after Animal. And you spoke in that interview and you said, that's not true. I mean, at that point in time, you said, I don't have much work as of now.
Yeah.
So, how does that work in the industry? And tell us about that phase when I'm sure you also must have expected that there'll be a lot considering the acclaim that you got for that role. But what was that
Yes,
phase when you weren't getting enough work?
I'm still not getting. I'm still there. I'm
Okay.
still hoping to get good projects. Uh, it makes, in a way, it feels bad. Obviously, I'm human. I thought this was that break. This was that lottery. After 20 years, 20 साल बाद वाला जो है एक मिल जाता है. But it's been 6 months now since Animal came out, and I don't have any big projects signed up. Um, but this also makes me believe in the fact that even after a project has not done well or is a flop, even by this same equation, I should still get work afterwards. If after a big success, I'm not getting work, so I think that kind of the thread holds true for both.
Siddhant, now let's turn back in time. I want to know your journey right at the beginning. Firstly, how did you think of becoming an actor? Just take me 20 years back and tell me what was that moment when you decided to be an actor?
I didn't want to study anymore. That was very like graduation, and that was one thing my dad told me, "Bhai, graduate ban jao, uske baad jo karna hai kar, but finish your graduation." After that, I wanted the path of least resistance. I wanted more holidays than work days in my life, and acting kind of seemed to be that avenue. But God, I was so wrong. I was so completely wrong because I didn't want to study more. Let alone I didn't know that I would have to study scripts for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Siddhant, I want to know from you. Sandeep Reddy Vanga has always intrigued me for some reason, and I loved Kabir Singh. Animal, of course, there were a few mixed reactions that I had, but I just find him very very intriguing. What is the man like on set, and what is his process? I've heard he's a very very passionate person. So how does he go about? What is he like on the set?
On set, like any artist who gets into the zone, he's in the zone, right? I and this is something I recognized about him, which is why I've noticed a lot of actors, and maybe I used to do it earlier in my career as well. I try to, buddy up with the director or get on his good books, and in between shots, just go and say hi, just for our own thing. कि चलो दोस्ती कर दी, तो it'll be a better process, and who knows on later. But I've realized also, and especially with Sandeep sir, if you find an artist in the zone, the best support you can be is to let him be in his zone.
Siddhant, I want to understand from you. Why did he pick you for this role, and how did you guys get in touch, and how did it work out for Animal? I want to know, what did he see in you that he picked you for the role of Jijaji?
So when I was called into T series, I had no idea about anything. They just said, Sandeep Reddy Vanga wants to meet you, and like, oh, the name sounds familiar. I didn't know who he was, so I looked him up and I said, oh, he's made Kabir Singh, and that was a big hit. Before that, I had not watched any of his films, but I was very keen to work. So I went, met him, and we sat down for 2 hours, and he explained the entire thing to me. And in the end, he says, okay, you can go speak to my brother. He's also producing it. And I went, and the director, Pranay and myself sat down, and we started asking dates. And I said, yeah, but don't you want to audition me? Don't, where's the reading? Won't you, all this comes after that. He's like, no, Sandeep's already selected you. And I'm like, but, oh, okay, this is new. After 20 years, I don't need to audition for something. That in itself felt reassuring.
Siddhant, I want to know, what is your advice to people who want to get into this profession, considering it's so challenging, and all the struggling actors in Bombay who are trying to make it? What is your advice to them?
First of all, stop calling it a struggle. It's not a struggle, it's a journey. The moment I switched that around for me, it became an easier process to accept and understand. If I said it's a struggle, I'll always be struggling. If I say it's a journey or ये suffer है, suffering नहीं है, suffer है, then it kind of becomes a lot easier.
Siddhant, I really have to tell you that I really, really liked you in as Jijaji in Animal. And I really do hope, and I genuinely hope and wish you all the success. And I hope to see more of you on the silver screen. Thank you so much for speaking with us today on NDTV.
Thank you so much, Vaishali. It's been great talking to you. I really appreciate the questions you came up with, and I'm sorry if I went on talking a little longer, but you were just asking great questions, and it felt like an organic conversation. So thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Take care.